All right, boys, today we got Fancy versus Tamir in the Madden 25 Ultimate Kickoff Challenge. And this is going to be a nice little game because Tamir runs some off meta. He runs U trips. He's been running U trips for years, been pretty good in this formation. And then Fancy is kind of unveiling. This is one of the first times you'll see in the competitive circuit this year. You will see a different defense than Double Mug. Fancy is going to be unveiling the dollar formation. And at this point in the year, dollar was a good defense, but wasn't a great defense. And Fancy is going to show kind of what makes this defense special. So a lot to learn from this video. And at this point, coming into this tournament, I think this is Tamir's first live event. And as I said, he's going to be in the U-Trips. Now, Fancy is going to be in the Colts book, starting on offense. And then also one of the other things that you're going to see is Tamir is going to be in the 3-3 Cub defense. So a lot to learn from this video. I've got 3-3 Cub and Dollar and Colts offensive and defensive ebooks on our school community if you guys want to check that out. And we are going to be adding in this 3-3 Cub. Now, he runs at baseline. I don't run at baseline, so kind of just going to be testing, kind of see what he's doing defensively, see what we can learn from. That was actually crazy. I think Fancy was trying to throw, I don't know what he was trying to throw. He might have been trying to high ball or slide or what. Somehow he pitches it back to the tackle, and very fortunate that he's able to get the ball. Again, a lot you can learn from the first drive. You're going to see a lot about what their strategy is, what their base coverage shells is, things of that nature. So you're going to see the thing that makes 3-3 Cub really, really good is the coverage behind the blitz. The blitz is okay, but the coverage behind the blitz is why you would want to be in a defense like 3-3 Cub. It's really good for running double Mabel. It's really good for running just the safeties come down to the box really well. Has some match coverage in it. So it's a very versatile defense. 4th and 12, kind of a big down to start out. You never want to get stopped on your first drive, and obviously Fancy is kind of running the risk of that here. Notice that Tamir is flipping that 3-3 Cub every single time. This is why I would not run at baseline because I think it's super hard to play against a flip bunch, but we'll see kind of what he's doing. A little motion out with the speed out. This is one of the main combos that you're seeing a lot. Throws his crosser, high points, catches it in traffic, and able to get that possession catch. Again, Fancy's going to be in double post. A lot of people have kind of moved on from Colts at this point, but I think Colts does still have some value. You might see Colts make a comeback later on in the year as well. So Colts is always going to be a really good offense as long as they leave double post and smash return and all that. As long as they leave the bunch offset as is, it's going to be one of the better offenses in the game. They're a little return route from the bunch strong nasty. A couple new plays added. Here should be an audible to trips. I want to go over this real quick. This is kind of Fancy's main red zone combo. You see, when he gets to about this area of the field and in, you're going to see a lot of trips. He's got really two combos that you see him run a lot. The first one is going to be tight end in with a streak, a C route, a tight end in, a drag, and a wheel. Okay, so what we're really looking for is the C route, or if they switch stick to the C route, maybe looking at that in route or the backside drag. So we'll see kind of how this play looks. Looks at that C route, good defense by Tamir. And it does look like Tamir's running a lot of cover 2 on the trip side. You see here cover 2 on the trip side. He's also rolling that safety into an outside third. That's another thing that is really good out of 3-3 Cub is that you can turn on, I believe it's the safety nickelback package, and you can get these guys to go into thirds. So you see third here, Cloud, he throws right at it. That might have been a half instead of a third. He didn't get as much to the sideline. But the reason why you want those thirds is those thirds on those safeties are going to do a little bit better job at defending deep corner routes and things like that. Here, Fancy going to bunch wide. Honestly, a lot of new formations that we haven't really seen called a ton that are getting called a lot more. And that was a nice little cover 2 beater. So right here, he was noticing the short side deep half. And if that was an outside third that would have played that, the seam streak might have been available. But in general, Fancy's going to get on the board first. And I want to get into kind of Tamir's offense and Fancy's defense. I feel like that's where the main matchup is going to be. I don't think Tamir's known as a great defensive player. He's a unique defensive player, given that he's always going to be in 3-3 Cub pretty much from what I've seen. And, he's been in 3-3 Cub probably since Madden 21. I don't even know if he played back then. But anyway, Fancy is in dollar, and he, in my opinion, has, at this point in the year, probably is the best defensive player with switch stick. And Tamir running kind of a unique offense, U trips. So a lot to learn from this. We'll see kind of what he's going to do. One of the things Tamir is going to do a lot is he's going to call this play tight end deep out or tight end or Y option wheel. And basically, you're going to just put this tight end on a corner route and quick hike a lot. That's going to be one of his main route combos. It's been one of his main route combos for years. Little halfback base, bad cut by him, not be able to get that first down. Puts him in a 3rd and 2 situation. Now, another thing that's real quick to point out about Fantasy's defense is when you're on the right hash, this blitz is really good. We found this like the first day the game was out. This is probably one of the best blitzes in the game this year, okay? It's hard to block when you're on this hash mark specifically. Now, if the ball's over here, this blitz is not as effective, and there's some other blitzes that are in this formation. So, again, 3rd and 2, got to have it down, key situation. We'll see what Tamir goes to on this situation. You see a little flat. And take a look at this route combo. These are the combos that you have in U-trips. You get this a lot. This is a tight end whip route. It's something that's stock to this formation. You can't hot route this. You have a clear out. You have this post, and then we're using a flat as like a snap read, and then we have this little curl to the running back. Now, the way this defense should shape up to play, your user is going to be put in a conflict. He's going to either have to defend this or he's going to have to defend this tight end whip. So that's kind of what we're looking at here in terms of coverage. Motion out. There you see, look, there's the flat. Hard flat takes that hard flat or takes that flat route. You see here, send 5. That's going to come in pretty consistently, as you see. And then take a look here at this. There's nowhere to go with the ball. This is going to be a throwaway. It's actually a really good throwaway because if you don't throw this away, you're looking at a 4th and 14 as opposed to a 4th and 2. This is another reason why over the last couple of years we've seen a trend continue to develop in Madden. It's partially due to the way the offensive line is kind of coded within the game, but it's also, I think, significant that you're seeing these A-gap blitzes are really difficult because the pressure gets up into the A-gap, and so the quarterback can't get away from it. So that's another thing that is super impressive about the defense right now. So you see here, this time able to pick up the blitz. Now we have a flat, probably a wheel route of some sort. And then we have, there's that tight end corner. He loves throwing this. He'll throw this in between zones a lot. He's pretty much mastered throwing this route, able to throw that right there. And actually kind of a bad throw. I think Will Levis probably gets that in with Gunslinger or one of the newer quarterbacks, but Jaden Daniels lofts the ball a little bit and just doesn't get a good pass lead, ended up getting a KO or just a knockout in general. There's Wide Trail. Great switch stick by Tamir. Great switch stick. Probably should have been a pick right there. And again, you're just seeing how valuable switch stick is. If you understand and you can, it's seriously like, it's definitely the feature of the year defensively. And the more that I've been thinking about switch stick, it truly has changed everything about offense and defense because it's completely different game plan. You're no longer trying to put out like your coverage adjustments. What you really want from a coverage, you kind of want like a basic coverage, like a basic cover 2, basic cover 3, basic cover 4, maybe a roll coverage. You're not going to do a lot of crazy stuff with your coverage adjustments anymore because of the fact that you want to be able to switch stick quickly. That's a high point. This is why high points need to be patched. His user's right in position to be able to make a play. The high point prevents him from making a play, and he can't even knock the ball out. And now we got a 1st and goal situation. So in general, you're starting to see early in this game some of the big picture takeaways from this tournament. One of them being switch stick. You have to understand switch stick. You have to have a strategy behind your switch stick. You have to have a strategy for how to beat switch stick offensively. Another big strategy is these high points. You can high point. If something looks a little scary, just try high pointing it. A lot of times that'll be in. And then both players are actually in a baseline based defense. And specifically, the idea of disguising everything is super important. So there we go, 3rd and goal, kind of got to have it down situation. Derrick Henry breaks a tackle, and that's why you run the ball inside the 5. Kind of just free touchdown, not really having to work too hard. You're seeing a lot of these top players, and this has been something that's been true over the last 4 years. You get down here in the red zone, you want to be running the ball. You want to be trying to run the ball in. You don't want to be trying to pass down here. The more the space gets compressed, the more difficult passing becomes. So we want to try to just run the ball in if they'll let us. And so forcing him to stop the run in that situation. Here we go, starting out with the halfback power. Now you might be asking, why is he running the ball? all the time on the first down because U-Trips is a very hash-dependent offense. You want to be on a hash. You really don't want to be passing with this formation in the middle of the field because it really hurts the spacing of the formation. So you're going to see consistently Tamir is going to be running the ball to try to get on a hash if possible. Here we go, another combo. Let's take a look. We got that flat wheel. I love that combo. It's a great little route combo. One of the things you'll notice with U-Trips, this is, and it's called wide trips pass, but everybody calls it U-Trips because that's what it used to be called. One of the other things you're going to notice with this formation, and you see consistently, there's that double team, now he gets on that hash. One of the things you'll notice with this formation is the spacing from U-Trips is really, really, really effective. And the way this game is played with the power of switch stick, having an offense like this is a significant advantage because it's hard to switch stick. The more areas of the field you attack, the harder it is to just sit and switch stick on certain things. So you're seeing this is basically a spread set, especially with this motion over and things like that. There's the running back. You see he switch sticked onto the post. Running back's wide open underneath. So you're actually seeing, I think, a really good match between someone that's mastered the best defensive feature in the game, which is switch stick, and then the one offense that I would think has probably got one of the better abilities to counter switch stick because of the spacing that the formation provides. Now, again, one of the things that I think is Tamir's ultimate kryptonite within U-Trips is he's quick. He's going to quick snap a lot. It's hard to quick snap dollar because the defense is kind of already set up for you, and so that's another kind of underrated thing. So take a look here real quick at this combo. We have a flat, we have a post, we have a clear out streak. So if you switch stick onto the third to try to bite down, you can throw this. And then we have this backside drag. And then the running back can be on a lot of different things. A lot of times he'll be on a wheel route. Another thing you're noticing is Tamir is pretty consistently sending out 5. He's not really blocking anybody. He's consistently sending out 5. There you see, good read. And you're seeing, the space of the formation is making it rather difficult to consistently play defense. Now, Fancy still has a 14-0 lead. One of the things that I think is important to also understand about the way that I believe defense should be played in Madden 25 is bend but don't break, making them work, not giving up the big plays, those forcing these longer drives where it's 5, 10, 15, ideally over 10 play drives. That is, I think, a good formula for playing defense because you're going to increase the likelihood that your opponent's going to make a mistake. You're going to force them to have to pass the ball or at least score in the toughest area of the field possible, which is inside the 10-yard line. And you're also going to give yourself a chance for a shed. See here, you give up a big play like that, and this is the first time, I think, in this entire game that Fancy sends 5, and I don't love this decision. He was playing pretty decent defense. Maybe he just didn't feel like I don't know if he just didn't feel like he was or if he was just trying to take a chance. We send DB Fire here, and there's just so many holes in this coverage. Now, Fancy does try to switch stick. It's a good play call by Tamir as well, but he's trying to switch stick to this and take this away, but a little too late, not able to do it, and Tamir is going to get on the board for 7. It's a big touchdown. Tamir going for 2. I don't understand this decision, and I also definitely don't understand the base call there. We know that Fancy's probably going to come prepared with a gap shoot. Most of these guys, when you get to this level, you know how to stop the run. You know how to gap shoot the run. So I'm kind of just surprised at that decision. I'm also really surprised at that defensive play call by Fancy. I felt like he was playing good defense. Tamir was having to go to his third, his fourth, his fifth read, and then we just kind of gave up a big play over the top. So anyway, starting out a little bubble screen out of RPO alert bubble trips. There's that same in that real quick. That's the same exact broken tackle animation that we saw in College Football 25. It's in Madden 25. The games are very, very, very similar. So things that are going to work on both games generally. So anyway, just want to make that little point. Flat streak. Love this combo. We don't see that combo a lot out of Colts. That's the wide trail, stem down the corner out all the way. Flat the outside guy, drag the tight end, streak the back. Reason that's good is because it's good against man, but then that corner and flat, pull the flats out, and then the running back can get up into that seam area of the field. Looks like Fancy's going to go to tight open in this situation. I don't know what he's going to – is he just taking – I don't know what he's doing. Super delayed audible. I don't know why. Looking for this against cover 2 on this left side. He's going to have that corner route, misses that read, and then instead we want to throw into double coverage, but it's still open. Velas Jones. Now, situationally, a little bit of clock management. Notice that Fancy did put Chew Clock on. I do feel like he's a little too far down the field to start to clock. That must have been why he was taking some time with that play call. And but see, that's where like you need to call that play at 1 second, because now look at this. Now you cost yourself a couple seconds by not calling that at 1 second, not the last play, but the play before. He doesn't call that at 1 second. So now he can't take all this down to the 2-minute warning. So it's just a little bit of it's a small little mistake, but it's a clock management mistake. Here he's going to go to this route combo. Why go to this route combo? Because he's not trying to score. He's just trying to kind of keep the offense moving. A little scramble there. That's going to get us to the 2-minute warning. And now he's in a 3rd and 6 situation, which is another, I think, reason why just a poor clock management decision, I think, on his part. If you would have waited like 3 more seconds, he would have been able to take it all the way down to the 2-minute warning. There's that return route, good throw to that post, and he's going to be forced to score. And really that was, Tamir probably planned that, wanted him to throw that, because now Tamir is going to have the opportunity to be able to try to go down and get 7. And then the other big thing to remember here is that Tamir does get the ball coming out of halftime. So he's going to get the ball coming out of halftime. So if he goes down and he gets a touchdown, and then he gets the ball out of half and goes down and gets a touchdown, now we're in a tie game, even though it looks like Fancy's in complete control of this game. So it's a huge drive in the course of this game. Tamir started every single drive out with a little halfback power. 5 carries, 21 yards. I think that's the 5-6 trap that he's running out of U-trips. Again, primary purpose probably to get on a hash, but also seems to have a decent amount of yardage with that. There's that switch stick. There's that, and that was bad. That could have went really bad. Probably, honestly, the best case scenario just happened with the basic penalty and an incompletion and putting him in a 3rd and 7 situation. That could have been a fumble. That could have been a pick. A lot of things could have gone wrong right there. So very fortunate for him that he's able to kind of keep things as wanted. A little motion over. This is a combo that's been really good. This is a streak. Here we have a backside drag. We'll take a look at what this guy is. He's on a streak. So this is the double streak combo out of tight end whip. It's actually kind of a unique little play here. We got this late dig, the double streak here. What this is going to do is this third is going to typically go in here, and you can throw this R1 receiver on this sideline. And then if you're not playing hard flats, which he wasn't there, you're able to just throw the running back. Still brings up a 4th down situation. This, I got to have it down for Tamir. You got to convert this 4th down. We'll see what he goes to on this for a conversion. Probably going to be, let's see what he goes to. Y option wheel. Oh my gosh, busted coverage everywhere. Fancy was really trying to get that. Now, a little thing there, also kind of similar to what Tamir did the previous situation. Fancy goes with an all-out blitz, trying to get that big stop. If he doesn't get that big stop, though, now Tamir's in a situation where it's kind of dicey. He's going to try to clock this, but it is going to be a little bit more difficult to clock than having all that space to be able to work with. Fancy's going to start calling his timeouts, trying to force the issue, trying to get that ball back to put himself in a position to score 3. So there is some strategy behind why you would get really aggressive with your coverage versus why you wouldn't get very aggressive with your coverage. But Tamir, with this run, has kind of shown one of the weaknesses of Dollar, which is run defense, and he's been able to consistently run the ball against this formation. And so, he's kind of, patting back, and now he's in a situation here where Fancy has no more timeouts. He's in complete control, and this is he's set up to do what I said, where he's able to score here, get the ball coming out of halftime, and be able to potentially get himself into the end zone and get the game tied up. Fancy going to 4-3 even, 6-1, goes offsides, and Tamir's going to score. Kind of surprised by him scoring there, but I think maybe he just feels, I don't know why you would do that, because he went down before, but he is going to score. And now this is why, the go for 2 thing. Now he's in a situation where he kind of has to go for 2 again. See what he ends up doing here. A bunch of slant routes. And just going to run it in with Daniels. There you go. All right. So now pressure significantly shifts back to Fancy, because Tamir gets ball at halftime. 48 seconds is a lot of time in this game, especially with the way the clock is this year. And then also, but there is no timeouts. So Fancy probably is thinking 3 here, maybe 7, but probably 3. And then Tamir is, but maybe potentially trying to get Fancy to get into a turnover. trying to get him to maybe force something. But yeah, I mean, that's open, easy, and really good read by Fancy there. Able to read the switch stick and able to expose it with the post. So 38 seconds left, and again, notice the clock. If you go no huddle, there's a runoff. But if you come out if you go back to the huddle, come out in the play, there's a glitch in the game where there's no runoff and there's no clock loss. So you'll see he'll go out in the huddle, look at that 28 seconds. It's still 28 seconds. Had he gone no huddle, it would have been 10 seconds, 12 seconds. So that's another reason why I think it's very easy to get down the field quick in this game because of that. As long as obviously you're ultimately executing your plays. But 15 seconds situationally, this is kind of Fancy's mission accomplished, in my opinion. Getting that field goal is a key thing because it keeps him ahead of the game. It keeps him in that one possession lead. Even if Tamir does come out after half and score, now we're trying to go for a kill shots here with verticals, trying to catch him in a bad defense. There's a tight end, not there. Notice Tamir sending a little bit more pressure, trying to kind of force Fancy into a turnover potentially. But the send 5 out of Cub is pretty decent, and the reason why it's decent is because if you block, it's not hard to pick up. But if you don't block anybody, the pressure from 3-3 Cub does come in pretty quickly. It's one of the quicker blitzes in the game. And the way Tamir's running is a little different than the way I would run it. And it was dagger. So notice here real quick, this is huge clock management wise. So he's on a 4th down. There's 7 seconds. He just goes to field goal, and look at this. He's going to be able to kick this with plenty of time because so if you think about it in a real game scenario, all the players ran off the field, all the players ran onto the field within no seconds elapsing whatsoever. Kind of an interesting glitch that they allowed into competitive Madden, and as far as I know, that is still not fixed. So anyways, on to the second half. All right, guys, on to the second half here, Fancy and Tamir. And Tamir does get ball out at half. Fancy sends 4 a ton. I might have been a send 5 actually there. And there's that option with that post. A big play for Tamir coming out of the gate. And this is a huge drive because, again, the reason the drive before half was big. This is pretty much equally as big. It's not quite as big of a deal, but it is a key drive here because if Tamir can score here, now we put a lot more pressure on Fancy to have to be better on offense, and it gives Tamir a good chance to get back in this game. He would basically be back in the game if he's able to score right here, a touchdown, and make it 21-24. A little halfback power. Goes to that twice. Fancy's starting to show a little bit more of a priority in being able to consistently stop this run play. Left hash dollar is definitely where you want to be passing. You want to be passing on the left hash against dollar as a general principle. We'll take a look at what we have here. Flat, there's the wheel, switch stick, and that should have been an interception. Notice this is what I was talking about U-trips. Fancy has a really good switch stick. He switch sticks here. I think this is a third. The read is right here, but look, you're just getting just enough pressure. He kind of has to throw into this. As you see, this is coming wide open over the middle, and not a chance in the world that he stops it. And we throw right into a ton. And this is, gosh, that's, able to be stopped. So 4th and 8, this is a decision here. Do you kick? If you kick, you stay in the game. If you don't get this, you kind of lose the game. You don't lose it's hard to say you ultimately lose the game because there's so much time left, but you put yourself in a very, very big disadvantage of a situation because basically you wasted your possession out of half. He is going to go for this. This is a huge down in this game. And notice that Fancy does something that we haven't seen a lot of. He goes to what a lot of people call the Dez D. Dez does this a lot on like big downs like this. Essentially, he's going to try to get a 4-man shed here. And then typically these guys are going to be in clouds. And then there's going to be some type of like cover three with 2 yellows. It's just a hard defense to beat over the top for anything. So you see there's that. And then we're protecting the sticks typically as well. And then again, you see here, these guys are rolling into the thirds. Somehow Fancy's in the middle of the field on the middle third. And Tamir's going to throw that, and that's a great read in that situation. when you see someone go to that defense, it's almost always that kind of coverage. So Tamir, they're a little predictable. The main thing that defense is really relying upon is a good shed. If it gets a good instant shed, or that's where it becomes very difficult to beat. It's essentially just a Tampa 3 type of coverage, Tampa 2 type of coverage with the middle third there. And then we're just trying to get that shed quick, force you to throw like a drag. Tight end whip, good switch stick. Another, and that was a pick. Wow. On the heels of a huge play like that, it's the second time he did that in this game. This time it didn't work out as good as it did the first time. It's an interception. And now Fancy has the ability to this is basically a put away drive. If Fancy can go down and get 7, I mean, look at this. I think he's trying to slide here. I don't know if he is or not, but I think he's trying to slide. I don't know what he's trying to do. When he steps across the line of scrimmage, I just don't know maybe he sees this. I don't know. But he tries to make a play way too late. This is the second time he did it. This time it's a pick. It's not just a flag. I mean, it's just a terrible decision. And ultimately, you can't do that consistently and get away with it. Double post, kind of an old school combo. High low on the left side, had the C route. Look at the sheds of 3-3 Cub. Another significant advantage of the 3-3 Cub defense. It does shed really well, so you're going to get good sheds out of it. Just the way they rush, the angles of the blitzes, do a really good job at shedding. Little post, return route, seam streak. Madden 25, probably the best seam streaks we've seen in a while. And just in terms of how the zones just really don't play seam streaks very well. Flip double post, streak on the left side. Another instant shed. Notice this again. And he might be sending 5. Oh, he's just sending 4. This is just a send 4. And look at the sheds. That's almost instant pressure. And it's not a blitz. It's not really a blitz. It's just a shed. You're getting that instant shed. And because everybody's basically one-on-one due to the front, it makes it super, super good. So just kind of keep an eye on that as well. And the motion out, stem corner, a lot of this. There you see, there it is. There we get an instant heat. Throws the corner, good read under pressure. You're seeing. This Cub defense is really well. It's really doing a lot of good stuff for Tamir. Just can't quite get the stop that he needs. And you see another instant shed. Stepped up in the pocket, good step up, good run. 2nd and 1. And again, what I would almost, I don't know exactly the crash, but I would assume he's crashing outside. Yeah, crash outside. This also allows an easy gap shoot, so it's hard to run on this. It's really hard to run on 3-3 Cub. 3-3 Cub and 6-1 are very similar. They're both really hard to run on. They both get really good sheds, and you can get some really nice edge heat with these backers. There you go. Not open. Kind of open, but able to get a KO or a catch knockout. Bunch wide, little motion. Go to wide trail. He loves this motion out streak. Why is he doing this a lot? Because there's a lot of cover 2 over here. And that was a great read. I don't know what that linebacker was on, but it was not the right adjustment. And Fancy's able to go up 31-14. And you see how big of a shift this game just took. It went from very, very could have possibly been 21-24 Fancy's ball to now 31-14. And now Tamir basically fighting to stay in the game by, really needing it. This is a gotta have it, need a touchdown drive here. The other 2 drives were, in my opinion, very critical for getting back into the lead. Now we're just trying to stay alive in the game and be able to play the game through. Because if he gets stopped on this drive, this is really hard to, you're basically done at that point. So he starts out halfback power. I think that's how he started every single drive. Little flat crosser, streak, old school combo. Don't see that a lot anymore, but still really good. Let's take a look here. Flat. That's another thing U-Trips does really well. It threatens the flats on both sides quick. So it's hard sometimes if you're not playing consistently hard flats to be able to. Now we're in trips. I don't know why we're in this. I don't know why we want a bubble screen on 2nd and 2 in this situation. Just kind of an odd play call. I sometimes I've always been just surprised at these MCS games, and they start doing stuff that they just don't do, like in the regular game. Good flat, good read, get the first. 31-14. I'd love to see an out route here and put some stress over here. I don't know why we haven't done that yet. Scramble out. Brings up a 2nd and 9 situation. But, I mean, this you're seeing now, watch how Fancy's calling defense, too. This is the best form of dollar. Look at what it is. It's a send 4. You got hard flat. It's hard. You can't just, the windows are hard to throw. It's hard to throw these windows. Like this throw right here, while open and while a good read, that's not going to kill you, right? It's not going to kill you. It's another thing that dollar is super underrated that dollar does. Actually puts them all the way back to 3rd and inches. Dollar keeps the game in front of you. It's another reason why I love the defense. There's a nice free safety zone blitz, gap shoot. He breaks 15 tackles, gets a first. And that's going to take us to the 4th. So put your 4s up. See what Tamir can do on this drive to get back in this game. Good switch stick, trying to take that away. Kind of baits there. Get a little playmaker late. There's a lot going on right there, but he is able to complete that post. That's kind of just a broken play, honestly. All right, so kind of a broken play. Brings up this goal line situation. 6-1 for Fancy. Stretch. Good spin move. Not able to finish the run. Ricky Williams is playing really good for Tamir, though, I will say. Single back. Oh, also, I didn't say this yet. Patriots playbook for Tamir. So Colts playbook for Fancy. Patriots playbook for Tamir. Defensively, Tamir's probably in the multiple playbook or the Vikings playbook. Fancy is in, I think, the Texans playbook. All right, 3rd and goal. 3 left side. Kind of that same 2-point play. Nothing really there. Going to have to throw it away. And this is it. This 4th down, this is pretty much the ball game. You have to score here. You don't score here, it's pretty much, it's done. Very, very difficult to win this game if you don't score here. Got this, I don't know what the motion streak is supposed to do. Tight end whip, get an overthrow. That sucks. Really unfortunate for Tamir. Gets that overthrow. And now Fancy's going to be able to take over. Now, Fancy is in a precarious position. He needs to get out of this position of the field for sure. Goes to really, honestly, kind of surprising call. Able to get the completion, but honestly, kind of a surprising call. Not a super conservative call right there. Just that double post with the streak, have the C route, able to hit the C route. I would have, maybe wanted to see something like what he's about to do right here, where he's going to go to inside zone, just try to get some yardage. Again, another thing, and I'm going to be a little, it's not a huge criticism because obviously a lot of things we've learned from Fancy, and I'm a big fan of his, especially the way he plays defense. I've just noticed the last couple of throughout this game, why are we not snapping the ball at 0 seconds, or 1 second? He's kind of I don't know why. Maybe that's just he doesn't want to give. He doesn't, and see here he's going to do it. He's going to take it all the way down. But see, like even just taking it, I just don't know why he does that. I feel like, I just feel like it's a little thing, but it did make a big difference at the halftime deal. Kind of opened the door, I think, for a little bit of a comeback. So just something in general that if you wanted to tighten anything up, probably that right there. Love this route combo. This is probably the meta route combo of the year out of bunch. Is this just streak, stem down corner, post, and then a backside return, whip, or a drag. Kind of gets out of there, gets a broken play, and we'll playmaker. And now, this is just full clock, finish the game well. Everything should be snapped at 1 second. It's going to do that here. It's a break and tackle. This Ricky Williams is really good. And then this should take us to the 2 or very close to the 2. Now it doesn't really matter. Now you can do whatever, but not able to get it to the 2. Goes with a power. Gets that did not work out well. Let's go bunch. Going into tight. Go to trips here. So he really only calls trips in the red zone or when he wants to run the RPO. Little inside zone, broken tackle. Ricky breaks so many tackles. Brings up a 4th and 1. Go for this here because if you get it, obviously you can just take more clock. Not in a huge. The game is over. If effectively over. Tamir's probably saving his timeouts because if he can go down and get 7, get a stop, get onside, Tamir's going to need multiple onside kicks probably to win this game. It does look like Fancy's going to go ahead and punt this, just kind of making it more difficult on Tamir, not trying to let him back in the game. I don't mind that decision either way. I can understand going for it. I can understand punting it. The punt ultimately is like a 15-yard punt. I think he didn't get a great punt there. But, now we're back into this situation again. Just this dollar defense you have. That's why I like it. And there you see there's an intentional, it does a really good job especially the way Fancy's running it, consistently just sending 4, not really getting too aggressive with the blitzing aspect of the defense. It just consistently will shed. It will give you it gives you the best coverage in the game. And so because you can cover the entire field well, you can really make them work, make them play left-handed. You can take stuff away with dollar, force the underneath throws, get them into these 4th and 5s, 4th and 7s, 3rd and 5s, and can potentially, make a play that way. Obviously, it's also, I think, once you get them on the right hash, which is going to inevitably happen throughout the course of a game, the right hash is very difficult to deal with this dollar defense. The pressure is really effective from it. There you see there's another, and I actually did end up catching that. It almost looked like he dropped it there. Oh, he did drop it. All right, well, Fancy is going to wrap this game up with a couple kneel downs. Tamir's not even going to call his timeouts. Well, thank you for watching the video. And if you guys want to check any of my books out there in our school community, school.com/Cody Ballard, you get everything for $10 by being a member over there. All of our college football and Madden offensive and defensive ebooks.